How's it going, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another Top 10 Tuesday. This is a weekly series in which we take a topic of discussion, a subgenre, a theme, a director, and we create a top 10 list around it. This week, in honor, in celebration, in mourning of Mr. Wes Craven, who had just passed away, we decided to dedicate this theme week to him. This is our top 10 Wes Craven films. Wes Craven is a legend, and he will go down in history as one of the biggest contributors to the horror genre, one of the best filmmakers in the horror genre. Hell, he will be appreciated in film in general for his contributions, characters, and I mean, he's scared so many people with the films that he's created. I just want to say that Wes Craven definitely has influenced my life. I remember when I was first becoming a horror fan and I just started getting into besides the movie. You know, I was already into the movies, the horror films, renting them, watching them, but when I just took that little step past that to where I was getting into what was happening with them, how they were made, who was making them, I started learning all the behind the scenes stuff. Wes Craven was one of the first stops on that train because I wanted to know who created Freddy, you know, I remember learning who played Freddy, then learning who created Freddy. And Wes Craven was just one of those names that I heard a lot when I was first learning about horror. So I will prefix this by saying there's a few Wes Craven films that I have not seen. I have never seen Mind Ripper, Stranger in the House, aka Summer of Fear, or Vampire in Brooklyn. I've seen everything else that he's done. I own two of the three I just mentioned. Vampire in Brooklyn I actually started watching last night but ended up falling asleep, so I will finish that. So those three films will not be on the list. I also want to say that I did not include any films that he only had the writing credit for. So no Hills Have Eyes Part 2, the remake Part 2, no Pulse. Those films are excluded. I was going to include them, but I decided to only go with films that he at least has a directing credit on. With that said, these are my 10 Wes Craven films. Of course, they fluctuate a little bit. They go up, they go down. The number one and number twos are probably pretty much gonna stay the same, but let's get into this. Coming in at number 10, we have a film that a lot of people are a fan of, but I'm not the biggest fan of. I do like it. I think that it's a bad movie, but I enjoy it for what it is, and that is Shocker. Shocker, to me, is your quintessential so bad it's good. I actually think that this is a bad movie. I'm not gonna lie. I think that most of the people that defend it even also agree that it is a bad movie. They just like it. They love it. It's fun. It's a good time. I feel like if I would have seen this when I was younger, I would like it a lot more than I do. Fortunately, I got the badass Scream Factory edition with audio commentary from director Wes Craven and a bunch of other special features, so maybe this will kind of bring a new light to Shocker for me, and I'll be able to enjoy it a little bit more. I only seen it one time, and it was, you know, a little over 2 years ago. I liked it, but I was not the biggest fan of it, so that is Shocker coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is a film that I've only seen one time, maybe twice, but both of the times were right when it was released, and that is Red Eye. This is a thriller, and I think it's a damn good thriller. I didn't even know Wes Craven made this until much later, when I remember hearing people talk about it in like a DVD update or something. They said Wes Craven made it, and I knew that I had seen it, and I was like, wow, really? He made that? And I just remember ever since then I've always thought of this film as like experimental project that Wes Craven just always wanted to do. His whole career he has dabbled outside of the horror genre, but I feel like he always wanted to make like a Hitchcock style thriller or something like that, you know, and this was kind of his love project, I guess. And I've really liked this one. It's been a while since I've seen it. It might not hold up, but the first time I seen it, I thought it was really tense, suspenseful, really awesome. You know, on the airplane, I thought it was a great thriller. And I'm not the biggest fan of thrillers, but when they're done right, I love them. And for some reason, I remember this being really good. Not sure if it is, you know, still gonna hold up or not. I do remember it being really awesome. So that comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, My Soul to Take. I love My Soul to Take. I actually love this movie. This is a great movie. People talk bad about this one. They actually point to this as a reason why Craven shouldn't direct. You know, when he was still alive, they would point like, you know, he's way past his prime. He can't, you know, pump out anything good anymore. They said the same thing about George Romero, but unlike George Romero, I actually think that Craven was still making great films into his final filmmaking days. My Soul to Take and Scream 4 are both really good in my opinion. My Soul to Take, I loved it. I actually love this film. I think it's great. There's so many cool things in this film. I love the characters. I love the casting. I feel like he casted people that actually look like teenagers, unlike his other films, the Scream series, where everybody looks like grown men and grown women. I feel like he casted people that actually resembled teenagers, which I really love. I love the killer. I mean, he's Freddy Krueger done again. I love the actual story and plotline to this film. There are a few cheesy moments, some bad CGI, but I think the film is very moody and atmospheric. I love My Soul to Take. Too many people give it a hard time. It's actually a good movie. I truly believe that. Coming in at number 7, we have Scream 4. Like I just said, Scream 4 was his last film, and I think it's a great film. This is a film that, it's a Scream movie. So many people were going in, and then they came out and they were complaining and they were bitching, and I'm like, hey, did you like the original Scream? Did you like the original 3 Scream films? Yeah, I love the original trilogy. Well, then why the hell didn't you like this? It's the same thing. It's literally the same movie. Craven did the same movie again. And I know maybe you want something different, but I went into a Scream film expecting a Scream film, and that's exactly what I got. This is Scream. This is better than Scream 3 at least. This is better than Scream 2 in my opinion. This is the second best Scream film. So if you went into Scream 4 expecting some awesome, crazy, different movie that wasn't Scream, then that's your own stupidity and your own fault. Because he gave us the same movie that he's been giving us with these Scream films. And it was awesome. Because I like those films. They're super fun. Scream 4 kicked ass. Loved it. Don't understand all the haters. They just hate the hate. Coming in at number 6, we have The Last House on the Left. This is a film that took a while for me to get really comfortable with. I've always known of it, I've always saw it, it was always very familiar with me, but I can never say that I liked it. I always felt like indifferent. Like I didn't like it, I didn't hate it, I was just there. I didn't really have any strong feelings towards it. And it wasn't until recently when I started watching it again where I was like, you know what, I really do like this film. This is a very good film. It has very big problems, such as the comedic tone, the ridiculous tonal shift where this goddamn comedy comes in and it just ruins everything. The scenes of violence are very graphic, they're very intense, they're very in your face, and they're very unapologetic. And I love that about it. It's a film that gets under your skin, it makes your skin crawl, it makes you feel like shit, it makes you want to take a shower. And that's what I like about Last House on the Left. It's just this dirty, nasty experience, and it makes you feel shitty. Anytime a film can make me feel a certain way, I gotta give it props. Just fuck the comedy. Somebody needs to edit that shit out. It's seriously so bad. Last House on the Left, coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have The Serpent and the Rainbow. This is probably Wes Craven's most underrated horror film. I love The Serpent and the Rainbow. It is creepy. It's dark. It's scary. It's a little slow. But if you can get into that slowness, you will love it. Because this film's setting, this Haitian voodoo stuff, man, that shit is creepy. It's so out there. It's so weird. And you start getting to think about it, and you're like, man, that would be terrible if that ever happened to me. Going out into this, Haiti, and there's this big thing, and you get zombified. This is a voodoo zombie. Voodoo zombies still kind of freak me out. The idea of there being this toxin or this drug that basically makes you to where you give off no vital signs, essentially. They're there, but they're so faint that they could easily be missed. And then you wake up and you don't know who you are, and you're just stuck in limbo. I love the idea of this film. I think this is a great... I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing more films like this voodoo zombie style. It's great stuff. I've always loved it. Coming in at number 4, we have The Hills Have Eyes. I don't even know what to say about this one, man. It's a great film by Wes Craven. It's gritty. It's this grindhouse exploitation vibe to it. I love the remake, but I love the original. This film, the more I watch it, the more I like it. There's just certain things about it that when I'm watching it, I I have to step back and be like, wow, that looks really good, or that sounds really good, or this is giving off like a weird atmosphere and mood, and it's just it's really hardcore too for the, you know, the time, and it just has that 70s sleaze feel to it that I love, you know, much like Texas Chainsaw. This is like the perfect double bill with Texas Chainsaw. Love The Hills Have Eyes. Coming in at number 3, we have The People Under the Stairs. This film is one of my favorites. I love it so much. Sometimes I watch it and I'm like, this really doesn't make sense. This couldn't happen. This is weird. And then I'm like, I don't care, because it's so fucking awesome. I just love everything about this one. I love the characters. I love how batshit crazy it is, where there's these tunnels in the walls, there's all these people under the stairs, this dude running around in full like S&M gear, and he got a shotgun and he's screaming, and you're just like, what the hell am I watching? What is this? But it works so well. Man, this film, I used to watch this shit all the time when I was a kid. I loved it so much. I still love it to this day. It literally is one of my favorite horror films. And I'm aware that it has flaws. It has massive plot holes that don't make sense. This could never happen and stuff. I almost feel like I couldn't even properly defend this film, because for the most part people are right that say that it, you know, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and it kind of wouldn't work and stuff. But it does work. It works for me. It's so good. I don't know. It's like Chainsaw 2. I can't really defend that film. I love it to death, but when people, you know, critique it, they're right for the most part. But there's just some films that you'll just love no matter what, and this is one of them. I love The People Under the Stairs. Look at that sexy cover too. Man, that's good. Coming in at number 2, we have Scream. I love it. What can I say? I grew up watching it, 1996 or whatever the hell year it was. I was like 5 years old. Saw it on VHS or whatever. The next day, everybody in the world had seen it. People are calling each other, what's your favorite scary movie, all that. People were wearing the ghost face mask for Halloween. I swear for the next 11 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever, everybody and their mother had a ghost face mask, because that is still, to this day, the hot Halloween item. It's cheap. Anybody can get it. I remember as a kid though, just every Halloween, there was so many ghost faces. And nobody, like, it was still a considered a good costume. Everybody loved it. This film has so many references and things to horror films of the past. It takes these cliches and it turns them on their head, but it really doesn't make fun of them. It doesn't disrespect them. It just is like, gives like a little nod, and it lets you know that it's aware of them. That's what I always kind of felt like about Scream. It doesn't disrespect the history. It just like nods, like, yeah, I know what you're doing. And it's like, lets you know that it's aware of the rules and the tropes and the stuff, but it's not disrespectful. That's a weird metaphor idea thing, but Scream is awesome. What more can I say? Finally, coming in at number 1, it should be no surprise, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street. This film is amazing. I love the third one more, but you know, the original, the only problem with the original is the ending. Other than that, it would be a perfect horror film. It might, if it had a super strong ending, it might go down as the best horror film ever made, because it is that original, it's that creative, it's that scary. It's a scary film. It's terrifying, it's creepy, the atmosphere is good, the mood, the dream setting. So many good things about this film. Johnny Depp, Heather Langenkamp, Robert motherfucking Englund as Freddy Krueger. It's just this dark, super creative, original masterpiece. It really is. If it wasn't for that ending, it would be a perfect horror film. It really is Wes Craven's masterpiece, because he pulled from so many ideas, so many different concepts, the dream world, dying in your sleep, and he molded it into a film. These ideas that I still to this day, I find it hard to believe that one person came up with this idea, this concept, because it's that brilliant. It's a fucking genius idea. There's a killer in your dreams who is scary as shit. He has a fucking claw hand, wears this sweater that fucks with your eyes because the colors are opposite from each other, and he kills you, and if you die in your dream, you die I mean, dude, it is just fucking brilliant. I don't really know what to say besides that, man. Wes Craven, thank you so much for the greatness that you've provided me to watch, to soak in, to change my life, to really just, I can't even put it into words. Just thank you. Seriously, I mean that so much. Thank you, Wes Craven, for all that you've done for this world.